I have saved more than $300,000 and you can do the same. Over the years, I've tested many different strategies to improve even more my savings. And no, I'm not talking about don't buy a coffee and become a millionaire type of stuff. I am talking about easy actions that you can do now as soon as you finish this video. And so here are the 5 tricks that will help you save money faster. Hi all, I'm Nico and I've learned the first trick the hard way. Because when I started working, I had a pretty good salary. And so I created my new bank account, I got my first credit card. And thanks to this good salary, I wasn't really caring about the expenses I had. I mean, I wasn't doing crazy expenses, but I was using my money. And so 1, 2, 3 months passes and I always see my bank account growing and I was super happy. I was having more and more money every month it passed. Until the day I told myself I fucked up. Because opening my mailbox, I found a letter from the bank where it was written that I hadn't paid my credit balance for 3 months. And so that I had to pay more than $10,000 plus the interest in a very short time. Like on the moment I did not understand at all what happened. I was like, why do I have to pay that? I was paying that every month. And this is because I thought I had automatic payments for the credit card, which was not actually true. And so for 3 months, instead of paying this credit card balance that I had and that I could have easily paid for, I just didn't. I accumulated interest and so debt. And basically I was throwing to the toilet hundreds of dollars every month. And let's be honest, this happened to me also with the phone company, with the internet company. And this means that I had to pay even more interest on all of this money that I forgot to pay. I thought that it was automatic. And so overall, there is a lot of money that I've lost this way. A lot of money that I could have easily saved. And this is just money that you lose for errors. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one having experienced that. And so you're not even using it to buy something that will make you happy, that you like. You're really throwing it to the toilet. And so I told myself, should I be more careful? Should I have a plan for paying and everything? But actually I understood something, that whatever system I would put, I would always forget in some occasions for whichever reason. And that's why I understood the importance of having automatic payments, of having all these bills to be paid automatically when you receive your paycheck. Like this, there is no possibility of error and I've never missed any other payment after that. And so setting up these automatic payments, you're just saving money automatically, and it actually means hundreds of dollars every year. And if we talk about credit cards, we can even find a better way, an even more effective way to save money from it. Because let's be honest, when you use your credit card to pay for something, you don't actually feel the guilt of using your money. It's not like if you are paying with cash. When you use the credit card, it really lacks this sense of spending your own money, because it is actually the bank that is lending you the money for this transaction. And all of this makes you spend more money. It leads you to buy things that you might not need and also things that you can't afford. And this is called overspending. And it is a huge problem that I was also doing. And looking back at my expenses, I told myself, like, that's too much. I'm spending too much money. Why am I doing that? And especially, how can I change that? And it is actually very simple. And first, I thought about using cash, but let's be honest, in the 21st century now, we don't use cash anymore. It's kind of a pain in the ass. But there's actually an easy solution, which is as if you were using cash, and this is using a debit card. And this means that when you use the debit card, the money you're using is actually taken directly from your bank account, and it's not the bank lending you some money. And so I started using it, and it actually works super well, because I started feeling much more attached to my money, to what I was spending it for. And this led me to spend much less money every month. And to that I have to add the fact that there is no risk of generating more debt to pay interest, because you're not lending the money from the bank. And this way I started managing my money much better, and especially I started saving much more. And so if you really want to save money, stop using the credit card, but use the debit card instead. And now let's talk about a very particular and specific trick. But I actually think it's applicable to many people, and it is actually also very interesting, because you probably have Netflix, HBO, Prime Video, Disney, and maybe even other subscriptions, and every month you're paying for these subscriptions, and it is actually a lot of money. And so every year, if you have these 4, you're paying around $580. But what if I told you that you can easily and legally reduce this amount of money? You could pay $145 per year or even less, because yes, it is possible, and the principle is actually extremely easy. Because I would say in general, if you have these 4 subscriptions, you're not using them all at the same time. You're probably watching one show now, maybe on Netflix, and when you finish it, you go on HBO to start another one. And this means that you're normally using one only streaming service at the time, but you're actually paying for the 4 of them or more. So why would you have to pay for them? And that's how the idea of subscription rotation was born. Because what you can do to reduce the expenses for your subscriptions is to get one part-time, use it as you want, and maybe the month after you change it. And so, for example, you want to start with Netflix because you want to watch Breaking Bad. And once you finish it, the month after you just subscribe to HBO and you cancel for Netflix because you want to watch Game of Thrones. And you can continue going on like this, saving a lot of money because you are drastically reducing your costs. And so finally, if saving is your focus, you can easily add $400 or even more just by doing this subscription rotation and still being able to watch all your favorite shows. And something that you can actually do is to subscribe for free to this channel. Because if you're finding this video helpful, you will be able to learn other strategies and tricks to increase your savings. And let's now come back to a more typical trick, which will actually really help you to drastically reduce your expenses. Because remember, if something is easy to do, you will do it much more often than if it was difficult. And having a credit card makes using money extremely simple. And that's why you have to create a barrier that blocks you from using your money. And it is actually very simple. And it is to keep separate checking and saving accounts. Because this way, all the money that you have in your savings, you won't be able to use it with your credit, or if you're following this video, the debit card. And so as soon as you receive your paycheck, have an automatic payment from your checking account to your savings account. And this way you will automatically limit the amount of expenses that you can have during the month, because you won't have access to this amount in the saving account. And yes, it could look like something basic, but it actually makes the whole difference. And so if you really want to save, that's one of the most important things you have to do. And so now that you are actually saving some money, wouldn't it be cool if you managed to save even more? And wouldn't it be cool if it was automatic and without risk, without effort? Well, if this is what you want, I have the solution for you. And this is having a high interest savings account. Because if you don't want to invest, which is what I actually do, it is super easy to find a safe savings account with a yield of more than 4%. And this means that if you have in your savings account, for example, $1,000, you will receive $40 every year. If you have $10,000, it will be $400. And if it is $100,000, you will receive $4,000 for free every year. And so like this, you're really receiving money just for having money. And so why wouldn't you take it? And so if you start saving money in a saving account, always find one which has a high interest rate, because otherwise you would be missing on a lot of money for free. And so these are the tricks that I learned to save more and more money over the time. But let's be honest, those are just going to help you to save money faster. They're not going to do the big job of saving. And to do that, there is actually one only thing to do. And you will learn it by watching this video. Thank you for watching and see you soon.